Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage, and today we're going to be having a look at Bitcoin. Before we jump into the price action, I'd just like to say thank you for watching. If you're enjoying the content, please smash the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Okay, so let's get into the fun stuff here. Basically, what we're looking for is a bigger move to the upside here to see whether this can hold. This is valid for as long as we actually maintain this zone here of this 24,877. But once we start to lose this key area, it becomes less likely. We've talked about it in the previous videos. There's a couple of ways of looking at this move. We can potentially look at this as a third wave and this is a fifth wave, in which case we would be potentially looking for a deeper retracement down to this lower box towards this 23,996 to this 452. So this is still, either of these is still a viable option at this point. We could also potentially look at this as just a three-wave move up here, and we could be looking to start a bigger five-wave structure to the downside. So we need to be cautious of that as well. If we do fail to hold this key support zone here, this 23,996 to this 21,452, basically we would have to hold this lower zone here. This area of this 18,202 to this, yeah, they're basically this 18,202. Once we start to lose this zone, this would basically it would make it less likely that we're going to see this continuation. So this is going to be our area if we're looking at this as a completed five-wave move that we want to find support. This will be that 786. We don't want to really start losing this. Once we, as you can see to the left here, once we start to lose this area of this 786, we start to lose this support line here. And then that potentially, could allow for us to actually have a deeper move to the downside. So we have talked about a couple of things here. We in the previous videos we were talking about this potentially still being a flat correction here, and then we could see some continuation to the downside. So we really need these key areas to hold if we're going to remain bullish on these. So it is perfectly viable that we could set new lows here. So just bear that in mind within the next coming days and weeks. Okay, so what we're looking for here is we were talking about a couple of things yesterday. We were talking about the possibility of a triangle here. There is many ways of looking at this still. Potentially, we could count it as a triangle and basically the way we would do that is we would be looking at this move in this manner as A, B, C, D, and E, in which case, this five-wave move could be complete. And we're looking at that potential that within here, we could have either had this as a WXY, and then this is potentially a triangle as a B wave or an X wave here, and then we could be looking for continuation. So we're going to discuss both those different options here, as well as the more cynical one where we're actually looking to break down much deeper within the structure. So this is what I'm keeping an eye on here. Potentially we could look to form another leg here. We're going to go over some of the subwave counting, but really, if we want to continue with this potential 1 and a 2 here, we need to hold this support zone. Once we start to lose this, potentially this 24,877, basically, we start to break some key levels as well. We start to break down again below these highs. It wouldn't look pretty. So yeah, we're gonna have to just keep an eye on how it actually develops. So basically within this, we were talking about a couple of things. We were talking about that potential that it could be a bigger flat. This would have been fine if we had formed five-wave structure here. It doesn't really fit anymore now. You could argue that we have something like this, but it doesn't really fit. So I'm going to leave that on the sideline for now. Rather, I think what is happening is something like this, which we talked about yesterday, where we're looking at this as a W, X, and potentially this is a Y wave. In which case, we did come down to this zone that we were talking about yesterday. This 26,444 area to this 26. It's not quite there, but it was within the range. So we did actually come down to that 0.382 here, as well at this 26,673. So the thing is, this move doesn't look like it's completed though. So, potentially within here, we could have another leg to the downside where this is 1, 2, this becomes 3. Actually, if we're going to count it like that, there could be a couple of legs down here. So it could still tie in with this move, but, potentially we could actually look for this 50% at this 26, 1 through 4, 3. And then we could actually look to even potentially come down lower here towards this 25 area. And that would look to bring us down into this into this golden pocket area here at this 25,613, which would also be a retest of the bottom of this channel. So I'm keeping that in mind. The problem is if we start to extend down here, and we count these as additional ones and twos at the top end. So I'm just going to throw this on so I can show you what I mean. Um, Something like this, where we look at this as a 1 2 1 2 1 2 at the top here. So this would indicate that we could potentially move down towards that 26,105 to this 25,838. So this still ties in with that idea. We could still argue that within this, we do have this as an a B, and a C, or a W, an X, and a Y. Basically, those target zones are pretty much the same. So the key difference here is that if we do start to break down like this, we need to be cautious, because once we break down to a certain level, we can potentially start counting this as another 1 and a 2 in here, where this becomes 1, 2, 3 into here, 4, 5. This becomes a wave 2 again, and then we actually have a much bigger structure. So we need to be a little bit cautious with this. It can actually look to extend to the downside. So primarily what I want to see is if we do come back down deeper here, I'm going to just turn on the support box. We can see that basically that would bring us into this 50% here towards this 26,143, and would actually be also retesting this point here. So it's going to be interesting to see how we react from there. If we just blast through this zone, basically it could indicate that we have a much bigger structure here. But what I'm looking for within this is, we do have that potential that within this move, this is either something, let me actually go back to the first one. Either we're still within the C wave, which could look to complete after a couple more legs to the downside here, as another 4 and 5, potentially towards this 26,143, or alternatively, we could actually start to push down in a different way, where we look at this move as a WXY that's not complete. But now within this, basically what we'd be doing is treating this slightly different, treating this as a W wave, an X wave as a triangle, and then looking for that possibility of having an A, B, and a C to the downside. So this could actually look to change how we actually interpret this move. In this case, what we'd be looking for is this is a wave, this is a B, and then looking for that C wave down. So that 1-to-1 would actually be here towards this 25,684, and that would be the 1-to-1 of this yellow. Sorry, this 25,826 would be the 1-to-1 of the yellow ABC. The 1-to-1 of the Y wave, if we're looking at it in this manner as a WX and a Y, would be here at this 26,126. So we can see there's a little bit of confidence, regardless of which way we're counting this, around this high. So I will be interested to see how that plays out. Potentially that could bring us back into this channel as well. And, we could actually look to test out this range. If we do start to break down deeper, though, we need to be a little bit cautious within this. There could be some extension here. Like I said, it depends how we want to look at this move. If we count this with a truncation into here, potentially then we can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down into this low. In which case, now we have that possibility that we could actually, have additional structure here as a 5-wave move. So it's going to be key to hold that support zone. As soon as we start to lose, this area of this 24,858, basically this becomes less likely that we're going to see continuation to the upside. And rather than what my next target would be down here somewhere between this 24,020, which would actually be a retest of this low here, and then lower down, potentially coming back into this channel at the 618, which would be this 22,970 region. So this is going to be key what happens from this point. If we do start to move back to the upside here, potentially we could form the tricky thing about this is, even if this is just a bigger correction that's still in play here, and we actually are looking to move down here, technically speaking, we could form something like this as a WX and a Y, then we form another 3-wave move up rather, and then we could see something like this play out as a bigger move here. Obviously, that we would want to be looking for something in the same sort of duration as this move that took us to the upside here. So what we're going to have to see is just how this plays out. If we just get another move down here in a five-wave move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which actually looks to take us towards this 25,826, then potentially we could look in this move as we have it marked out here, looking at this as a bigger WXY, in which case, we could still look for that potential to push up after coming into these zones. What we need to be cautious of is the fact that within this, there is that potential of a breakdown. And we were talking about this briefly yesterday, and I marked this up looking at this potentially as a 1, 2, looking at these internals again as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, if we do start to break down past this 26,163, we need to be cautious that there isn't an extension in here where we do get some additional structure here, where either we count this as a 1 2 and another 1 2 here, which would indicate we have more structure, or we look at this as a 1 into this low point here. 1 2 3 4 5 truncation, 2, and then actually we're looking to push down deeper here. And basically, if we do get those internals play out, what that could do is push this third wave over. So if I just throw the internals on, I'll show you what I mean, because it might be a bit complex. So if we did get these internal waves play out, where we have this as a 1 2 3 4 5 down to this 26,358 to this 26,116. If we then get a bounce back up into this previous fourth wave here in a three-wave move, ABC, what we could see is an additional five-wave structure coming down into this zone, looking to complete towards this 26,105 to this 25,838. One thing I must say is obviously if we do get further extension within here, this can look to actually break down deeper than these target areas. So we're going to have to see. We are sitting currently on top of this channel. That we basically didn't, we interacted with a few times here, but we broke out and now we're sort of sitting on top of it again. I would like to see this move away for as long as we consolidate just next to this level here. I want to see us get back above this zone here of this 27,200 and start consolidating above it. For as long as we remain below that, I'm just being cautious the fact that we could actually see this, come back up into these zones and then look to actually break down or actually just have a direct breakdown from here. So the key thing within this is if we do form these additional structures here and we do look to push down towards this zone of this 26,105, basically what this can do is actually look to put us in a bigger five-wave structure where we look at something like this potentially playing out, and then we have an additional leg to the downside here. And what this would then do is basically push this target out. The key zone I'm looking for here is looking at this as a 1 and a 2 into this point here. If we're looking at that, we'd need to have a move down past this 25,083. So if we do get these extensions here, and this becomes a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we get another fourth and a fifth, and we get another fourth and a fifth, and we actually look to push down into this zone, potentially, if I just throw this onto this area here. It wouldn't quite take us down if we're just looking at it in this manner. But if we do get some extension, it's just quite easy for us to get to this 25,000 zone. If we do break below that, basically we'd have to start thinking about the fact that we could actually have this completing here, and potentially this is a 1 2, looking for a bigger third wave, fourth and a fifth. So all of this would then become the subwaves of this. The problem is if we're looking at this as another 1 2 here, this is potentially going to get some extension down and actually look to surpass this 1618 target. So we'll have to see how it plays out. We haven't broken down again, but if we do get another breakdown here, basically what I'm going to be looking for is to see how we react. If we just get a three-wave move to the upside and we reject again around this previous consolidation area of this fourth wave, then potentially we have some additional structure to the downside. If, however, we come down into this zone and we actually look to break up above some of these key areas, which would be this zone here of this 28,194, potentially this could actually look to actually be starting that bigger move to the upside. So we're going to have to just give it a little bit of space here. If we do manage to hold those key supports, we could still be potentially looking for this bigger move to the upside here, where we're looking for this move up towards this 33,674. as a wave 3, where this becomes 1, 2, 3, looking for a fourth, and then we get a bigger fifth wave up here. This target has changed slightly, so I need to adjust that. So our fifth wave could actually look to bring us up towards this 35,390 to this 34,337. The thing is, within this, obviously, then we would be looking at that possibility that this becomes a 1, 2, this all becomes a third wave. We get a fourth wave and a fifth wave up. So this is what we're monitoring. We need to hold this key zone though, for continuation. Really, I want to see this get out of this area and get back above these highs if we are going to look for that bullish potential here. As long as we stay below that, we need to be cautious. Like I said, we can still count this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. That only gets invalidated by moving back up past 27.66. And even then, we'd have to be careful that there isn't some kind of a more complex structure going on here where this whole move actually just becomes an A wave. We get a B wave up, and then we actually break down one more time after that. That would make it less likely that this is, that this move was a 1, 2 or an A and a B. If we do get something more choppy and sideways like this, it would make more sense then that rather, potentially this whole move is a 1 or an A, and then we're looking for this B. But like we've previously said, we can count this in a couple of ways into these highs, so we need to be careful of that possibility of actually breaking down deeper here. So I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below, and also in the description you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It is free to join. As well as that, there are affiliate links for both PrimeXBT and BYBIT down there, both great exchanges that we use on a regular basis. If you do not have an account, using the affiliate link does help support the channel, and we do appreciate it. Everyone, have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.